in. Hi everyone, I'm Carly from Carly's Creative Clay, I hope you've had a good several weeks. I've not been on, oops, just fixed my Alice band. I've not been on for the last 2 weeks. I've been very unwell. And unfortunately this is a manual craft, so trying to do it whilst really rough, especially when I'm handling blades, is not a good thing. So this was the last project that we did. Let's move a bit of white out of the way. Whoop. Sorry. Here we go. Right. We did the penguin. The wheelchair front wheels were further forward. So what I ended up doing was getting some wire cutters, cutting that little bit of excess off and pushing it back so it was in alignment.
Artie Hearty Life says hello.
Hi Artie Hearty Life, it's lovely to see you. But he has been baked and varnished and will be in my Etsy shop when I get my vaccine, which I've still not been booked for because they still don't think I'm ill enough. I will be making phone calls about this, don't worry. This week we are going to be doing sills, C-lines, what the difference is, and a common mistake that's done all over the art world.
Show them what you got so far. It looks good.
Okay, so you can talk, you know. It's Jamie whispering off screen. Okay.
Like Hearty Life said, I definitely thought the front looked long, defo trimmed.
Yeah. Just got some wire cutters in there, took it off, and it looked better. The measurements was for a longer seat and a bigger animal, so you just need to shrink it down a bit when you've got a little short stubby legged one. So this is where we're at so far with this. I've made the little C line and we're gonna focus on making the big one to go next to it. Probably Mum. Now, first I will say about that little heart in the middle. What I've done is I've gone to charity shops and got some lamp work necklaces. Lamp work is the kind of thing you do with glass, and you can get big heart-shaped pendants and all sorts of shaped pendants for about £1 at a charity shop. They work really well. Now usually they got a little glass loop for the necklace to go through. I took that off with pliers and I've covered anything sharp with the clay coating that I do to back it in. But because it's fully glass, you don't get as good a light through it as this unless you put some foil behind it before you smudge it into the clay. Okay? Right, back to sills and C-lines. They are part of the pinniped family, which is a good word, pinniped. So, pinniped family, please.
Which one is the pinniped family?
Not that one.
That one.
Pinniped family.
Unfortunately, this is the best.
As you can see, there are a lot of them, but they are basically sills, C-lines and walruses. And I think there's only 3 walruses, maybe a couple more. Most of it's sills and C-lines. Now, off with that, please. The difference between sills and C-lines is this.
Which one is?
Difference between sills and C-lines, please. Right. A sill has little ears, whereas the sill has no visible ears. They have little holes, but you can't really see them. C-lines have these little ear flaps. The hind flippers of a sill, they face backwards. They can't bring them round to the front, so they can't do that little waddling motion you see. They have to basically do like a wiggle motion to push themselves along. Their hind flippers can't rotate. Pretty similar on the face, but those are the 2 main difference. Now what I see an awful lot in artwork and in sculptures and in everything, it's naturally instinctive to want to do that rotating hind flipper thing, that feels more normal than to leave them sticking out the back. But they then don't put on the ears, because seals, you don't really picture them with ears. And if you take that down, Jamie, it's so predominant. The little plastic models I use, if you see, no ears, absolutely silky smooth. Look at the flippers. And that's mass produced. Everyone does. I didn't make that. That's a company plastic. You can get that at children's shops all over the place. Everyone makes that mistake. So you need to make your choice, people. Are you making a sill? Are you making a sea line? And I'm going for sea lines. More specifically, a California sea line. They're the ones that you picture, the very grey ones. I think that was because Hollywood's America, so they just kind of pictured a lot of their local wildlife. But as you saw with the pinnipeds poster, they come in a lot of different shades. Yeah? But as I go along, when we get to these back flippers, I will show you what to do different to turn it into a sill. Okay, how's that? But yeah, don't make that mistake. I want to try and change this around for people. Right, what am I getting? These ones. Sorry, I didn't prep so well today because I got asked to go and talk for an hour at a job club about what I do with claying and streaming and all that. Really, really happy to have done that. First time ever being asked. It was tiring. I think I talked at them a lot, but I'm hoping it was good for them. I'm a little enthusiastic. Right, grey clay. I made this one up slightly lighter than the one that I've already got. Now, what we need to separate out for is for flippers, ears and eyelids. Yeah, your nose has moved. Sorry about that. I'm just, whilst I spot it, I might as well do something about it. Right, okay. So I'll take off big pinch, and if I end up with excess grey, that's fine. We're going to make that whole body and head in one chunk. Okay? Now, we don't really need this to go round, because what we'd do as a first thing, if this was a round bit of clay, sorry, noticing air bubbles, I'm just getting rid of that. Now I've made crack marks, let's bring it back to round and smooth it out. Right, once you've conditioned your clay and you've rolled out any crack marks, like so, we then got to bring it into that longer oval thick sausage shape. Now you want it slightly thicker than you want your end body shape, okay? Because we're now just going to start to portion out the clay for the head. I'm just squeezing a little bit around where the neck's going to go. So like that. We will come back in and define it. You don't want to make it so thin that your top bit's flopping around, so you want it to be able to be quite stable, see? So that we can then work on the body and come back to that. So if you can see, you're looking to bring it out a little, keep most of the same shape, but bring it out a bit and put a backbone in. So we're going to start to pinch and pull to bring it out, like so. You can roll it on your hands or roll it on the counter, but you want it kind of even. You don't want finger marks through your clay. So that looks pretty good to me. Now I'm going to use my board to secure the clay a bit. You don't want to push it flat, you still want that roundedness. I'm just going to start to pinch out where I want the spine, like so. Now you need to come down and go around the back end. If I left the spine like this, it looks very prominent, like quite emaciated. So I then come along and I start to tap along the top edge. Now you can see I've done that on that side. It looks a little smoother than that big ridge across there. Just come along, tap along it. Yes, I know there's fingerprints, we're going to sort them out later. Just tapping it down. If the spine is too prominent for you, tap it down, be gentle with it. Make sure you're not digging the heck out of the bottom, although it doesn't matter too much because it is going to be on a base, like so. I think that looks good to me. Right, so we're going to need to think about what we want Mum to look like. So with that in mind, this is a collection of California seals that I pulled together off of Google Images. California seals, please. Nope, not that one. That one. So, love the little face. That's what we're going to be working with. I'm thinking about, okay, if you take it out a second. I'm thinking maybe putting Mum down like that and resting her head up and around on the top back of that. So that would be good. Let me get that picture up on my mobile so that I can use it for sculpting. And I've got the picture, I've got the baby in front of me. So I'm going to start working on the head. Now, you're just going to bring it narrower, but remember where your spine is. That top bit needs a bit of a bulge to it. But the head is in line with the spine. So we're going to push down on the back. So the back of the head is in line with the spine. And then we're going to come up on the front tip and start to put a point on it. Where's my spine? There we are. Like that. But can you see I'm making sure I'm flattening out the underside a bit more, but not the top of the head. I'm keeping that little bulge. If anything, I'm pushing back on it just to accentuate that rounded head. You want to keep the roundness for the cheeks, but come in quite long under the chin and around that muzzle. Yeah, long and streamlined like that. Looks a little bit dolphinish. Maybe the nose is slightly too long. Yeah, if you've done the nose too long, just tap on it and bring it back. And then shape it up to how you want. You control your clay. It does not control you. There we go. That looks more like it. So we've got the body. Even with knowing my spine's there, I still made the top of the head not so straight. So I'm just twisting it round a little. You do gentle taps and then you massage out that twist line. That's when you mess up and do it in the wrong place. You can don't squidge it and restart. Just twist it back into place and then smooth out those lines. Right, we need to come down that shoulder and bring that spine along the back of the neck. And again, we're going to do that little tap out and smooth in so it doesn't look starved or emaciated, like so. Right, let's get some positioning in. We're going to need a head up, chest up, like so. Nose bends up a little bit, like that. And I'm just literally bringing it around. Sorry about the traffic noise. The room's really hot, so I needed to put the window open. And that means every car suddenly wants to go down my street. Obviously. Right, I'm going to bend the body around like this. And I really like my glass surface for that, because it grips so that it lets you move the clay without actually losing control. So I'm going to go like that, like that. So I've got far more of a bend and up. Now let's see how it's sitting. Let's bring that head actually. That might look better. So you can get it on and put it in place and have a fiddle round. Don't forget we've got front flippers to go. So when you're planning on placement, you don't want your front flippers. Let's turn that head round a bit more. Like so. It's easy to turn the muzzle and not the head. When you move the clay properly, it should move at the actual neck end and not where you don't want it. What do you reckon? Like that? That'll do. That's a good placement. Shows you how much planning I do. You can make the whole thing and then put it in place, but I like to put in place and then carry on from this stage. Just doing a bit of smoothing out, and that gets rid of some of those fingerprints. The other thing I'm going to do is come in and put a few crease marks in that neck so that it looks more natural, like a slightly fatter animal is bending its neck around. This is something I'm trying to work on. It's something I've not done so much in my modelling, is that whole thing about bend lines. But I think it's important for me to grow with each piece, so I'm trying that. Right, what I've done, let's pick it up and show you. Couple little creases just in there where the back's arching round, and a few in that neck just down there. See? Just makes it look more like something with muscles and tendons. Now, front flippers for a seal are smaller than a C-lines, but we're C-lining at the moment. Oh, so thirsty. Right, so we're going to divide this out. We need a little bit for eyes and ears, so that'll be that. Now, front flippers are a lot larger than back flippers, so let's divide this into in half, but not equal halves. One slightly bigger. I think that needs a bit more, like that. Then you're going to divide these into equal halves. That looks about right. And the same again with your other set. Right, okay. So they're going to be your backs, these are going to be your front. We're going to start off by going into a ball, like we always do. So far, the only tool I've used is that. It comes in a set off of, I got mine off eBay, but I've seen them all over the place. You're looking for, I think it's under waxwork tools, wax sculpting. But yeah, it's a really useful set. Whilst I'm here, nope. I've got some dental tools. I've got waxworking tools, sugar craft. What else is there? Soap making, sculpting, as well as things like polymer clay tools. So also you can get some that are way out there. Like one of my favourite needles for doing fine detail is a felting needle, because it's actually in a triangle rather than a round. Right, back to this. Now, first thing we're going to do to our ball is on any side, because they're all the same, we're going to twist it, and it's kind of like a teardrop, but you're not looking for a nice big point. You're looking for a really small, tiny nub of a point. Yeah? Next to nothing. Then we're going to decide which side is the top. We're going to push that flat. So we've now got a nub that is flat. Yeah? On with the flat bit at the top, you're going to push the sides like so. And come down so that it's thinner away from that top edge. Like that. Let's measure that against there. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm going to use my board and just get the shape more like what I want. We're going to bring this side out into more of a point. If it folds over a bit, don't worry, you can just smooth it out. So we still got that flat side, that nub still kind of rounded, and we're out into that, almost looks like a very fat knife. Yeah, thick top, thin bottom, that sort of rounded shape. Yeah, you want two of those. So let's do it again. Tiny little nub, like so. Flatten out what we're counting as the top and pinch along the sides so that it goes down to thin on the outside, like so. Then we're going to come down and we're going to accentuate that part there, like that, and then bring this bit up into a point. And I'm pinching a little one like that and a little one like that, just to keep it in control. And where I'm making two of the second of two, you've got to try and make it so that they look as uniform with each other as possible. So like that. That just needs tapping down because that's got a more rounded end to it. There we go. Right. Two of the same thing. There. Now this is the next little tricky bit. We're now going to put along that end, can you see? Let's hold it up to the camera. Whoops, sorry for all the rustling. Can you see the little lines along that long edge? That's what we're putting in now. And that is along there. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 lines you're looking at doing. And what you're going to do is along here, we're going to do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you see they've made the little round bumps? But you can, if I put that flat down on the base, you will see that it really doesn't continue round. So whichever side you want is as the bottom, just bring it round a little more, so that you've got more options for posing it, but also it looks like little separate thin sections. So this is going to be my top. Now you need to have a bit of thought with it. I like to trace out lightly before I commit to deep grooves, because you need to do a line and then bring it down to your bump. You see, like that? And you need to do that with all of them, and they need to end along there. Okay? So if you want, you can put a guideline in like that and then join them all up, or you can eyeball it. And it's easier to do it faint and rub it out than it is to do it really thick and then go, they're not spaced right. You will find as you get to the back, the sections will get a little smaller. That is obviously normal. So that's my guidelines. They don't have to be straight, because they're not normally straight. So I'm going to rub out that line at the end. So let's rub that now, and I'm going to come in and just make these a little bit deeper. You can use a ball tool if you want, but I'm fine with just using this so far. Sometimes you're like, well, if it's if you don't need to change tools, why do it? There we are. Bring that one up. That looks good. That's your first flipper. Now, if you
give me more time than that to focus.
Oh, sorry. That's your first flipper. Yeah? Now, this flipper, you don't want to do it the same way around as your first one. So you want to go whoop that way. So remember, 2 different sides. And you're repeating the same thing. So little guideline there if you want. Going in 5 little notches. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Bring it round the back a bit. I'm just going to be quicker with this because you saw me do it once already. Then bring your lines up. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Make them deeper. If
Hedgehog says it would also make good wings.
They would make good wings as well. I do need to show how to do feathers though. Feathers are a lot like scales. If you have seen me make dragon scales. I am planning to actually do a bird at some point. It's something I find just annoyingly hard to do. I will tackle it once I'm over my phase of human and humanoids. Right, so 2 of those. We're going to put them on the front. That bit comes up to the shoulder. That bit goes down to the floor. Now, that faces around like that. So, how do I want this positioned? I'm going to go like that. I will hold up what I'm doing once I've got the whoop. I think that's what I'm going to do with this first flipper, and I will join that in at the shoulder in a second. So what I do, little ball tool, you won't get one with that pink handle. It was a wooden handle in a set of ball tools, and I used it so much I cracked the wood, so I covered it in clay. I'm just joining in just where that shoulder would be of that flipper, because obviously your arm is actually attached. I thought there's, funnily enough. Do bring it all the way around. If you are finding that difficult, you can take your seal off of the base, and I'm just smoothing in any ridge lines caused by the ball tool, like so. I'll hold it up in a second for you. There we are. There, right. Okay. First flipper on. Now, we're going to need to do something fancy with this one, because it will be overhanging the base. So what can I do with that? I could bring it forward. Can they go that far forward though? I doubt it. They can clap though, can't they? How I know a little bit more about this is I had a snuggle with a sill. Whilst I'm getting somewhere for this flipper, have a look at this. I paid for a experience day at our local zoo, and it was worth every penny. That's Dante. He is so gorgeous. Chesington Zoo, they do this.
Or at least they did one.
They did. They might not while COVID is going on, but I bet they will do once all that's done with. You can do it with many animals. Go and have some time, feed them, hang out with their keepers, learn more about it. I saved up forever for it, and I did several days. I fed tigers, I went to the ray tank, I just all sorts. Of so fun. Capybaras, when you stroke them, their fur goes up on end when they're happy. Oh, cool. That is right. That's where. Whoop. That's what I. Yeah, they grow up. Then.
That sounds fantastic.
There you go. You can feed giraffes for as little as sort of, I think it's £20 or £30 the last time I saw it. So that's the front flippers in. Now we've got back flippers and face to do. So let's do these back flippers. Now, if you're doing a seal or a C-line, it don't matter. You're going to make the back flippers the same. It's how you attach them that's important. Right, pretty similar to the last one, but we're going to make a far more pronounced point to it, so it's far more like a teardrop. Yeah, and we are going to flatten it down like so. Now pick our side that's a little bit more pronounced, and then go down thinner with the other side like before, but we're keeping far more of that rounded shape. Yeah, so we're like that. we need 2 of those. Whoop. So I think the back ones are easier to make than the front ones, because there's a little bit of bending and stuff. I've left my guideline on that sill flipper. Sorry, 2 seconds whilst I notice it, 'cause I'll get carried away and I won't spot it, and then I'll end up with a sill with a line across where all its stripes are. So pinch it flat, same sort of thickness. You don't want to go too thin with them. Don't forget there is an actual fair bit of substantial meat and bone and all that in a flipper. It's not paper thin. And we're going down one side like that. Now we're going to go a division of 4 in the back, and it will be along that line there. So 1, 2, 3. Let's check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like that. Same again with, take it round the back a bit, but don't worry too much because it won't show up. Now these lines are going to come right the way up, like so, and meet up in the center there. Make them a little deeper. Same on the other one. 3 dividing lines. So there's 4 sections. Roughly around the back. And then up to the middle point. There we go. Right. I'm still really foggy. My brain is finding it hard to talk and to clay, but I will be a lot better than this, I'm sure. Right, like that. Now, I find California sills really interesting. They just hang around on harbours. So people who own boats, especially expensive boats, have to fight for a whole lot of sills to get to their boat. Right, if we're doing sills, what you do is you make sure you bring those lines properly down on the other side. You join like that, then you smudge that on like that. Yeah? Push it in a little bit. You can, where's the photo? I think they don't go flat, they just go out to the side like that. Yeah? And then you'll have your sill joining the ankles like you did around there. But we're doing C lines. So back off you guys, like that. And we rotate thinner side inwards, and you're going to push that right the way up to the corner of the rounded bottom, like so. Now I'm going to bring this up around here, that down like that. Just have a bit of a thin angle and get them into the position you want. Once you're happy with them, like that, you come in and bring out that join line. Which I need to do actually on the other one. It's amazing how easy it is to forget. You don't have to do that all the way around. Just up where it would join onto the back naturally. Like so. See? Whoop. Yeah. So, we're now on to Mum's face. Right. I like to start with eyes. And what I got is some glass flat back beads. They're not too bad in price. I got a feeling I'm going to need to go up to 4mm for that. Right, where's my dotty pen? This is called a 3D crystal painting pen. What you get is this, it's like a goopy, waxy stuff that you put in the end, and it helps pick up individual beads for you, and you can then place them properly. I didn't pick that up. Right, there we go. And you can place them far more level than you would have if you were trying to do it with just your fingers or tweezers. So that's Mum's first eye in. Before I secure anything, I always hold it up to Jamie. He is my human spirit level.
Down a bit. I know you got it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Make sure the eyes are towards the front. Predators have forward facing eyes. Prey species have their eyes on the side of the head. Think sheep and goats and humans. And seals, I know people are like, they're the little puppies. Puppies are predators too, mate. Yeah. And while we're on that subject, they are not puppies. There are some that can be really friendly. Don't go into the water and try to cuddle them. Don't try and take selfies with them. You don't want one as a pet. They are seals and sea lions. Enjoy them, respect them, think they're cute from a distance. Last summer, Cornwall, which has a decent seal population, the harbour master lost his cool, shall we say, and I totally agree with it. He went to the BBC with photos of the general public wrestling a baby off a mum to take selfies with. And you wonder why they attack. They are very strong, especially when they're in water. They can outpower you. Don't. I mean, I'm not saying run for the shores as soon as you spot one in the water with you, but don't vex it. It does my head in. I'm a massive animal lover. You can appreciate and love an animal without getting involved. You don't need everything as your pet. Enjoy it from around a decent, safe distance. Yeah. I'm not going as far as saying it's animal abuse. Hi, I can't see what name that is, but hello, thank you for joining us. Yeah. But seals, they're beautiful, they're playful. I'm so glad they're part of the English wildlife. Right, what I've done is 2 little sticks like that with tapered edges. I'm just waiting for hubby to get back so that he can do the zoom properly, and I'll show you. It's alright. Who was it that said hi?
It was, I
I got all that.
Blitzel said
It's
hello.
Blitzel. Hi, Blitzel.
Blitzel. Liz.
Yeah. So,
Blizzle said hi and yeah, obviously. Sorry,
right. Glad to see you have changed times to stream. Have I?
No.
No. 5 o'clock always.
Unless
I've not been on the last 2 weeks because I've been really ill, which is kind of getting normal for me. But other than that, it's 5 o'clock on Wednesdays. 5 o'clock UK time. Right. I haven't pushed these eyes in deeply. I've left them sticking out a bit because if you look at sills and sea lines, they have quite bulbous eyes.
when was daylight savings time?
I
Would that be
don't know. Is it daylight saving time? Right. What we're going to do is put that first curl under the eye, put that point to the corner, and then wrap it up. And if you go, oops, that's too long, like this, come in with your X-Acto knife. Let's see, can I do this on camera? Whoop, are we on camera still?
the camera's still bouncing.
And cut it there. And it's the same as if you'd got it right first time. Yeah? Same on the other eye. So, in the corner. I'm going to have to spin it around, make it so that it's sitting wherever is easiest for you to do this fiddly task, because it is a bit fiddly. That one I totally overshot. There we go, that's better. Right, so we now got 2 little under eyelids on. Like that. Yeah. So we've got these tiny little semicircles. That's what we're going to use for the top eyelid. I lay down along the outside edge, and you're going to do it in a little curve. You start in at the corner, I place it, and then I'll show you before I lay the rest down.
Sarah Hedgehog said, awesome.
Thank you. So, you place it, you see,
At the moment.
it does start out looking angry, and then curve it round like that. Yeah?
Ooh, wait a second.
Same with the other eye, and then we're going to smooth it all in. So, inside edge, and you're not laying the flat of the semicircle, it's that little lip edge that you're joining with. Thank you. We've got ears, nose and mouth to do, and then he is sorted, she is, they are. Right, you can leave it like that, but I think it's kind of sleepy looking. So what I first do is join in. I need a smaller ball tool than that. Get the right tool for the job, people. That's the kind of handle that that one had. I'm getting a smaller one in there, and we're just going to join that under eyelid with the main part of the body. You don't want to smooth it out too much so that you actually take away all the eyelid. Be very gentle. I'll do that on them both, and then I'll show you what I've done. You have to be so aware of where the rest of your hand is. That you're not messing up the rest of the model. Just dragging from the top edge down to the rest of the face. That's the paper, right? Okay, let's show you. Can you see it looks a lot more realistic joined in?
Yeah.
Now we've got those top eyelids to do the same thing for.
Yeah.
And again, you go from the tip of the eyelid towards the head. And you are going to leave little lines. You then, after that, come along and smooth the little join lines. I'll show you what I mean, because it freaked me out the first time I saw it. Right, let's hold it up. Sorry about all this rustling. Can you see on that eyelid how they're all, it looks almost like little craters?
Yeah, straight.
Yeah, because you're going from the outside onto the head. Once you've got it all joined, you then come along and do that.
Stroke each side.
Little strokes. You're not digging at anything. Think of it as petting your sill. You don't want to do anything heavy-handed. One of the most important things rather I had to learn was to gentle my touch up a lot more.
So you're dragging the clay from one side to the other and then afterwards smoothing the lines back.
Yeah, that's right. Same on the other eye. Then we can look at positioning the eyelids to get the expression that you want. If you try and position the eyelids before you've joined them on properly, you stand the risk of just literally knocking them off. Get them secure, and then you go for expressions afterwards. Right, that's that smoothed in. So we now have a sill looking like that. How I work the eyelid, you can use your X-Acto blade or anything with a bit of a point to it and just open the eyes up, push the lid back a little, shape it where you want, just flattening that down a bit and moving it open. I'll show you. The more open, the more shocked it is, the more it looks like there's an emotion going there. The more closed, the more angry or sleepy it looks. It's harder to express emotion on animals' eyes than humans, because we're programmed to see human eyes more. But there we are. So they're just a little more open. I do like using glass in eyes because it keeps them nice and shiny.
Yeah.
Right, now we're on to that mouth. So what I'm going to do, it's going to be harder because I've already attached it, because of course I have. I'm going to use a thicker needle tool because it's a bigger animal, but felting needle for the little one, definitely. Where is my felting needle so I can show you what I mean? I've got about 8 toolboxes, but this is the box full of my favourite tools. This is a felting needle. They don't all come with covers like that. I just found one with it and I loved it. But I don't know if you can see. Flat side,
Even
point,
with the best zoom,
flat side. You can see the reflection.
yeah,
Point, flat side. So it's a triangle. So you can get these little thin, tiny, controlled lines. Right. We're going right towards the underside of the muzzle. And I am going to go right under here. I want to do a little upturn so it looks like a smile. Then we come around, whoop, like that. Would crack. Stop cracking. Sorry, I'm just having to have a fiddle because it's done a tiny crack. There we go. Right, let's pick this up. Tiny little smile. You can, if you want, use a flat tool to push into that smile and pull the nose slightly further forward and bring the bottom jaw back a bit. That's also a thing, especially if you haven't got your nose where you want it to. So, like that. I think I'm going to do a bit more of a defined. There we go. Sorry, I was just fiddling. You do wind up fiddling a lot. Now.
Fettling? Adjusting?
Yeah, adjusting. That's a good term. Point the nose up slightly. Yeah, that looks far more like it. There we go. And just like that, she looks far more Sil-like. See? Slightly pointed up the nose. Right. Last little bits. We've got a nose to put on and ears. I'm going to do the ears first. How did it get glitter in it? That stuff is so pervasive.
Glitter gets everywhere.
Yeah. Off camera, I call it something else. I don't think I should because it's... I know I said it's not a child's program, but you know, I know kids might watch it. But yeah.
Anyone can use YouTube. Artie Hottie Life says those skin creases are really effective.
Yeah, just put a few in. Just makes it look more realistic. So, we've got those feet in the right direction. But in order not to do that thing's problem, let's get these ears on. And again, if you don't want to do C-lines and you're doing sills, if you want to be really, really accurate, just put a tiny little pinhole just around there. And then it'll look more seal-ish. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to form little flat triangles. Like that. 2 of those. Home stretch here. So, 2 little flat triangles. There we are. 2 of them. Now, what tool am I going to use? I know what I used on the babies. I might not actually need a tool. Yeah, well. Don't even go there, Carly. You know you'll just mess it up. You want something with a long, rounded metal base. So that would do. So any of your ball tools really would do. Your pin tool would, but it's a little bit thin. I'm going to use this because I got it in my hand. You're going to put it in the middle, start to pull that around. Before you join it, take your ball tool out when it's at the sort of taco cup stage. Yeah? And then just use your fingers to do that. Now, you can spend forever trying to get rid of that join line, or you can do what I'm going to do. Make that the inside. They're too big. Dang. If they're too big,
just make them smaller.
Just make them smaller. Like so. But you're going to have to come back in and put that little divide line in again. Like that. Come on. There we go. So, they look like little flappy tubes. almost like the paper you get to put a bunch of flowers in. It's that sort of shape, and the back scruffiness there does not matter because we're just gonna attach that on.
You're putting pointy end as the
joint. Is that too big?
No.
No?
Do you want the picture again?
Yeah, can you let's have a look at the picture again.
Oh no, maybe it is.
They may be a bit too big. Right. Let's divide this clay in half. There's not a lot of here to go, but if you're going to do a job, do it right. That's slightly too big. There we are. Right, the reason why I haven't done the nose yet is because we're going to use black clay, and I don't want to smidge up all my grey clay with black clay. Right, so that little triangle again around something metal like that. Take the metal out and then pinch it into place. It's even tinier tiny, and it was quite far back on the head in line with the eye, so about there. So you're looking in line with the corner of the eye for the tip, and then bring it back, probably a little further back than that actually, probably there. If you look at Dante again, you bring up Dante.
Yes, sorry.
Look at how far, corner of the eye, how the little ear is in line with that. That may be slightly far back. There we go. There. That'll do it. So let's... And then you've got to do the other ear in the same place on the other side. So there we go.
I still had Dante selected.
Sorry, we still had Dante. So let's get my ball tool and just join in that top corner. That little tip bit. There we are. Now let's make another one. So it's always best to allocate your clay before you start making it, because if I was to try and estimate how much clay was there now it's in place, it'd be really difficult. And if you use the wrong amount and one ends up a lot bigger than the other, it's gonna look odd. There we go, into the taco shape, and then just roly so it's into that flower wrapper look. Now corner of it, diagonal back. Let's see. No, of course I didn't get it right first time. Right, Jamie, what do you reckon? Like that, like that.
Should be as other ear. That looks good to me.
So, there we go, like that, and then follow the face around like that. You can be too close to a project. It's useful to have someone else that you can just show it to and say, does that look right? I'm very lucky to have someone who supports my craft. There are people out there who do not. There we go. Both ears are joined on. So we're on the nose. And that's all my scrap grey clay. Right.
Not a lot of scrap.
Not a lot of scrap at all. We don't need a lot of black at all. Right. What we're going to do is a tiny thin black line down the middle of the muzzle. Very thin. Yeah? Probably a bit thinner than that because it's bulging in the middle. There we are. Take that off. Right. Little thin black bit. Now, let's pick our statue back up. And we're going to go from the top of the lip to the centre of the nose. And again, where I put it already in place, it's not as easy, but we can do this like that. Oh dear, that mouth is smushed up a bit here. Let's shape that back. There we go. Right, push that on, make sure it's down firmly and that it's relatively straight. Once I've got it on properly, I will hold it up and show you. But if this comes off, it's going to be a real annoyance to glue back on. Right, here we go. Black line, see? Then, and if you, once you push it down, you think it's a little thick, just come along each edge and push on it and just make it a little bit thinner and taller, like that. Right, then we're going to make a tiny little triangle. This is going to be the top of the snoot, and I have seen it, and I did do it on one of my very first models where I put it with the point towards the top instead of the flat side. So let me hold this up. That way up for your nose, not that way. Yeah? Point down onto the line. And then you just got to line it up. I love my ball tools for this job. Make sure that it's evenly over the whole thing and looking tidy. Like that. Then if you want to be even extra about it, which I might do, come in on the underside of that triangle and make 2 little holes. You've got to come in from underside and diagonal in. I will show you, but at the moment I just got to make it work in place. There we go. Right, I'm not even sure if you'll see this on camera because it's next level fiddly. Can you see how I done a nostril in there? Just about.
No,
oh.
Got to try and keep it in the centre.
There. So we've got little nostrils in. We've got the nose looking right. We've got all of this how we want. Smooth out any fingerprints you don't like. Have a fiddle and change around anything you're not happy with. But other than that, you've got your seal or your C-line, depending on how you've done your back flippers. I hope this has been useful to you all, and hopefully I'll be well enough next week to actually get back on to doing this normally. Right, what to do next week? I might show you how to make a pot. Either a single slab pot. I might do a curl pot quickly to show you that as well. But yeah, let's do some structural work next week. Okay? So, hope everyone's had a really good week, and I will see you all next week. Alright, Thanks very much. Like, follow, share, subscribe and all that. Bye.
Bye.